Todrick Hall, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. Good to see you. You're gorgeous.
Thank you. No, Todrick, I am so excited because you have something big coming up this week. You are working with HBO's digital Pride Hub, celebrating the Human by Orientation campaign. Can you tell me about this amazing live performance you have planned?
I'm so excited about it. I am doing parts of my House Party World Tour live and in concert from my living room in Hollywood. And I'm just really stoked about it. I think there are so many people who didn't get to see that show, and these are numbers that I would have been performing at one of the 16 Pride events I was supposed to do that were canceled / postponed. And so I'm really excited to be able to perform such a full out show from my living room, and I really hope people enjoy it, and I'm so grateful and flattered that HBO asked me to kick it off.
You've also mentioned that this performance is going to fall on Juneteenth and how important it is that it's falling on such a historic date. Can you speak to why that's so special to be really showing off this Black queer community on that day?
I think that more than ever, obviously with everything that's going on in the world politically, right now in 2020, there could be no better time than Juneteenth to kick off this celebration, because this is a time that we are fighting for gay rights, we're fighting for trans lives, and we're fighting for Black lives in a massive way like I've never experienced in my entire lifetime. And I just couldn't be more proud, because right now I think that Juneteenth has always been there to somewhat celebrate freedom, but I never looked at it as freedom for gay rights as well. And I'm not trying to take away from the meaning of Juneteenth, but I feel like as a gay Black man, I have never felt more free than I feel right now, even though we are fighting for our lives to not be slaughtered on the streets. It feels great that so many people, not just Black people, but people in general, are coming together to fight for such awesome causes. And I woke up today and saw that they just passed the Supreme Court just passed all of the bills for legalize or making it illegal for people to discriminate / fire someone for being gay or trans or part of the queer umbrella. And I think that it's embarrassing that we're even talking about that right now in 2020, but it also is uplifting and brought me to tears this morning when I woke up and saw that.
I also want to talk about your Billboard cover. Because you have to be so over the moon that you are featured, and you spoke to how you never thought that a young Black queer man would be featured on the cover of Billboard like that. How did it feel when you got that call?
It felt like they accidentally called the wrong person, because I'm not a signed artist. So typically when I read Billboard, which I have read it multiple times over years, a decade at least, for them to put somebody who's an unsigned queer Black artist on the cover when there are people out here who are signed, and Lil Nas X could have been on the cover of the magazine, it just felt like a really, really sweet gesture. I was super flattered, and I have been fighting in this industry for so long to make a name for myself, to make a lane for myself. And I've had a lot of people that I respected tell me that I wasn't gonna be able to do it, or they didn't see it for me. And that to me comes back to visibility. You have to see something. A lot of people, if they're not true visionaries, have to see something several times to believe that it's true for someone who looks like that person to do something. And I think that back in the day when I had people telling me these things in my ear, that it wasn't possible, that I should just do Broadway shows, that there wasn't a lane for me in the music industry, it was difficult for me to find the verbiage and the language to explain to them maybe the reasons why they didn't see someone like me doing it. And I just think that when I saw the Billboard cover in person and saw the magazine, it just like gave me chills down my body, because I'm obviously proud of what my team and I have accomplished, but also I think of like a young little boy who is gay, or a young lesbian girl, or someone who is transitioning, and they look online, or just a young African American kid who sees a picture of me dressed in drag and also as a male, like together on the front cover, not in a story in the middle of the magazine, but on the front cover. That visibility allows that person to believe that if they chase their dreams and make smart decisions and work hard, they could also be there. And I just think it's so much more powerful than I can even put into words in a short interview, but it meant a lot to me, and I'm so grateful.
And you really emerged as such a strong voice in this community of fighting for rights. I mean, you even had in the interview, Taylor Swift said that you've taught her so much about using her platform. How does that feel that you're influencing others, even major pop stars, about using their platform?
It honestly feels great, and I don't think that Taylor even knew how much of an impact she was going to have on the world by speaking up. At the end of the day, we can speak as the Black community as much as we want and have rallies and remind ourselves of how unfair it has been to be African American in this country. But when you have someone like Taylor doing it to speak to people who look like her, who might have never second guessed anything, who might have never gone to watch a documentary or done any research to understand the concept of white privilege, and that it's not the Loch Ness monster. It does actually exist. It's not a fairy tale. It's just really powerful for her to say that. And I'm so glad when she says those things. I don't like to take credit for anything that she's done because she's her own human, but it does make me feel good that after our conversations and that when I asked, will she watch the 13th Amendment, she actually, or the Netflix documentary, she goes and watches it and can come back and tell me details about the things that she saw. And I don't know, I just love the fact that she is so willing to learn and so open when I'm talking. She's not interrupting and like saying, well, what about this? What about that? She completely gets it. And I love the fact that she's sharing that with her fans. And that when we have conversations, I can see her growth and she's helping me to understand what I can even do to speak to my audience to try to get everybody on every side has to work on this in order for it to come together, because we legitimately have to all be in this together.
Yeah. Well, speaking of we're all in this together, that's kind of something we've heard a lot amid quarantine. It's hard to believe that there's something else going on in the world right now. There's so much happening. But I need to speak to you about, you're repping the merch right now with Quarantine Queen, your new EP.
Yes.
Let's talk about your new song, Mask, Gloves, Soap, Scrubs, which is an amazing play on your existing song. How did you decide to come up with this amazing quarantine-themed EP in 1 week?
Well, I'm on this app Cameo where I make personalized videos to my fans. And it first started out as just an extra piece of side income that I could use to fund my videos or to add a couple of rhinestones extra to something. But now I love it because it allows me to interact with my fans and give a personal experience to a kid who would normally not have ever gotten to meet me in person. And a lot of the messages were saying, can you please make a video for my kid, because they were the star of their senior year high school musical, and that's now not going to happen, or they're graduating, or it's their prom. And so I decided to write a song about that. And then I came up with the idea for Stonewall Gives Back to do Mask, Love, Soap, Scrubs. And it was just so funny to me. I've never parodied my own song, but it was really funny to me to like keep creating new lyrics because the audience wants to listen and what he's gonna say next. And there's not that many things you can talk about when it comes to quarantine, especially since I wrote that kind of towards the beginning. And so it was just fun to like take all of the things and make a list and like make little jokes and puns. And finally I was like, we're going through a really scary time right now. I think I should make an entire album to uplift people, to make them want to make TikToks, to make them get up and want to dance, to make them want to work out, to make them want to clean their homes, or to be a soundtrack for them to do so. And so it felt really, really awesome to make it. And I'm so glad it was so greatly received.